last night's game was sort of an explanation of running back value in this league, as this league is sort of, stumbling and bubbling around what a running back's value should be. It was the number one topic of the NFL offseason, not paying running backs, not drafting, using high picks on running backs. Well, you know what? The Falcons did that with Bijan. They're very happy. When you got a player that you think can be an impact, you shouldn't hesitate to draft them anywhere if you think they're going to help your team. And then what do you do when it comes to paying a running back? Well, McCaffrey's the highest paid running back in the NFL, and he showed you why he's worth that last night. Now, the New York Giants, they tiptoed around an extension for SaquonBarkley. An injury pulls him off the field. Well, what do you got without him? New York, you want to talk about the value of a running back? I don't know what you didn't want to pay SaquonBarkley, but without him, here's what you're going to do. You're not going to win a single game probably until he comes back. The Giants are probably looking at a 1-4, 1-5 start to this year if Barkley's not back. They were held to 150 yards last night because Barkley is 50% of their offense. And when that is who your running back is, and then what? Like an arbitration, you're trying to make an argument that he's not worth the money? Like, look around, look at who you are, look at the team, how you're constructed and what you are without the guy. So I thought that last night was a little bit of a run it in real time experiment of running back value in this league. Look at what the highest paid guys does for the 49ers. He's now scoring touchdowns like Jerry Rice and producing points that not even Hall of Fame quarterbacks produced on a weekly basis. And over here, the team that tiptoed around its running back has lost him now due to injury, and it's basically taken their entire offense and thrown it in the dumpster. So a lot of running back value on full display. It's amazing what actual football games do to define what football value really is. Like, you can have your front office, your plan, your cap, you can plan it all very, very well, but then a football game happens, and that's where the truth lies. And the truth has always been really good running backs are important for really good football teams. And how the NFL convinced itself otherwise, because they're just so afraid to put so much of a ratio of a cap into an off injured position. Like, I get it, but if you're in the business of football, you're in the business of running back risk. It's just, they're tied together. It happens. Larry, they do. I mean, it's a totally separate conversation, and I don't want to take us down this rabbit hole, but after watching Nick Chubb, we saw that injury. That's why running backs want to get paid. Yep. And that's why teams don't want to pay them. Yes. All in one. And the NFL needs to address this because these guys are valuable. You cannot have a conversation about we need to win on Sunday, we need to win on Monday, we need to win on Thursday, we need to win a Super Bowl. Nobody can even have any conversation about this. It always starts with, well, we got to establish the run. Or on defense, hey, man, we got to take away the run. So something has to be done outside of the current CBA to just recognize that these guys face an unbelievable amount of punishment, and they have to have their own category, their own pay structure. It needs to make sense. There's a lot of smart people that run these leagues. They need to create a mechanism on the new CBA where it protects the running backs from all the abuse that they take, while at the same time protecting the team from the vulnerability of losing such a player. But I mean, it's just right now it's not, the running backs are being devalued, and yet they're very much needed. So that's kind of a contradiction. It's like, are they important? Well, I don't know. They aren't on draft day, but they sure are on game day. Jonathan Taylor is going to be traded here in a few weeks, and there's going to be all kinds of teams that are going to line up and say, we want him, we want him, we want him. But then I'm reading that now the Colts aren't even going to get a first-round pick for him, that they're probably going to have to take a second or a third for him. So it's like, what is it? Is it these guys incredibly valuable and you got to have them? Or are they not valuable and they're not worth paying for in the draft or in contract or in trade? So, I mean, right now we're in this kind of murky period, and I think that the running backs almost need to have an emergency meeting
and band together and figure out a way to create a mechanism within the CBA, which doesn't come up for several years, but they need to make an amendment here to the CBA and make sure that both sides are covered, that the backs are covered. Maybe there's some guarantees for injuries. Maybe those guarantees don't go against the cap, so the teams are somehow covered. There needs to be something that recognizes that this is an important position and a brutally violent position, and one that's not a long-term deal. So, and by the way, on CMC, his longest run last night went for just 12 yards, but he was very consistent. He averaged nearly 5 yards per carry, despite not having that big, 40-yard run, like we saw in the first couple of weeks. 12-yard run was his longest run, but he still went for almost five a pop. That's impressive.
Let me welcome everyone to our second hour here. It's 49ers Wake Up. Damon Bruce, Larry Krueger, simulcasting on both of our YouTube channels. It's wonderful to have you here. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit notify. Don't miss anything Larry and I are doing all season long. The day after the 49ers play, it's 49ers Wake Up starting at 8 a.m.